it is a Trinidad government.
It's a Trinidad government. It's a Trinidad state. And I'm saying even the construct of the presidency, given the constitution, leaves a lot to be desired, right? Because what we are seeing here, we have an uneven presidency. We have uneven executive authority, because remember, executive authority is vested in the president. The executive authority of Tobagonians is vested in the president.
Because she's the one, she comes up to swear in.
But the presidency on the whole, yes, the executive, remember, there's an executive in Tobago. In the House of Assembly, you have people who are exercising executive authority on behalf of the president. So the president cannot, in one fell swoop, on one side, exercise an inferior executive authority, and then on the other side, exercise
superiority.
Something is wrong with the state. I'm saying all of this to say that we need to reform, because when you read the Constitution, and why Robertson would have quoted from the Constitution in the commencement to remove Mr. Pandey.
How you will scale Mr. Robinson?
Well, as I was telling people earlier this week here, the only president that really wrote the Constitution and behaved like a president thus far, this president has an opportunity. The only president to have done so really is A.N.R. Robinson. Is the only person to have wrote the true meaning of the Constitution. What
we have here now? What we have in here now with the Prime Minister?
So let me explain. What is responsible for the belief system concerning the way concerning the relationship and the perception of the status of the Prime Minister and the status of the President is because at the beginning what Eric Williams and Ellis Clark did, because they were friends, they never wrote the Constitution. The Constitution was set up in a way to protect the state, and it is because the presidency has failed, the state has failed, and the governments have failed. That's why you have so much corruption in the state, because Williams and Clark compromised the Constitution. So people felt now that the government, or specifically the Prime Minister, had unbridled authority to do whatsoever the Prime Minister wanted to do. How do you explain the amount of corruption till a government minister could have come out in an election and say, all are we thief? All he confessed. And Dr. Williams, as we know, when there was that perception of crookedness in the cabinet and so on, corruption, he said, reshuffle the pack.
Reshuffle the cabinet.
Yes, just reshuffle the pack. So I'm saying it is because of that. They gave their own interpretation, and people didn't read the Constitution. So people assume, so they say, no, the presidency is a ceremonial one. They were describing the behavior of Ellis Clark and the behavior of Eric Williams, but they are not describing what is written. And when Jesus Christ wanted to defend something, he said it is written. When he came up against it, he said it is written. Look at what we just saw there. It is written.
Yes. But listen, listen, you see, what has me puzzled right now is that this same language, Keith Rowley knows it. Keith Rowley used to rise up against Eric Williams and Eric Williams' ruling and his behavior when he was a young man.
Oh, maybe I don't know about that part, but I know
when he was a young man, he was no PNM.
Oh, okay. Well, I would not have known. I don't know.
He wasn't a PNM.
I don't know what he was young. But
I went to Roxborough Secondary School, and almost all these teachers were NJAC and Black Power.
Okay.
They never wear a shirt with a tie.
Okay.
They're always in the dashiki and the kurota as women. I used to watch everybody. I used to watch the men. I used to watch them coming to school. They never wear shoes with socks. They're always in the sapat and the alpagat. No, listen to me. Yes. I am of their age.
Yes.
But I'm not old as them. They are in their 70s. I am 65. They taught me in school. Keith Rowley was my teacher. Harvey London didn't teach me. He used to teach Scarborough Cent. But that was the way all these young people teaching used to behave. So they didn't like Eric Williams' policy. So what you talking here is no news to him, I am sure.
Yes.
But he has to keep up the charade.
Yeah.
He has to keep up the appearances.
But for me personally, I am not going to allow him to take my rights away from me. He does not at all. No human being in Tobago and Trinidad has the right to take away my right and my executive authority and my right of freedom to myself.
Hallelujah.
And my right to represent my history. Because tonight I have not said a lying word. I'm not speaking a word that is unjust against my own people.
Yay.
Calling for justice and giving a proper explanation of the Constitution, not just this Constitution. I'm saying this is so all over the world.
Continue to tell us concerning our president.
Yes, so the executive authority,
what's her rights?
Always vested in the president. And if Dr. Duke can just pull up section 81, you will see further the power of the president and how the president should have been functioning in relation to the prime minister and the government. And I'm saying if that were the case, then the amount of corruption that we have had in Trinidad and Tobago, where people living with millions of dollars and just leaving the country just like that. The accounts in Panama, they run to Panama's David Runner said, I run into Panama. I don't know what they have down there. I go into Panama. You have a recent situation under the Manning regime where a certain individual just left with millions of dollars and just go on. It has been happening. It's because the presidency has not been working. So people have not understood Anna Robinson properly. And I had the privilege to meet with Anna Robinson while he was president. To be most
Dexter Robert saying something here. See what he's saying there.
Yeah. So he said, Mr. James, I wish the people had eyes to see what you are saying. I wish they had ears to hear what you are saying. I wish people would stop drinking milk and eat solid food and get an understanding of what you are saying. The PNM is not the solution. Not just the PNM is not the solution. The current system is not the solution. And I'm saying broadly also.
Thank you, Dexter.
That self-government in Tobago has nothing to do with Trinidad institutions. The UNC should not have any representative in Tobago. No, any political institution from Trinidad. This is about the Tobagonian self. The PNM, no political institution in Trinidad should have any operatives in Tobago. This is why you had big fallout in America, because the Democrats were saying that the Russians were interfering with their elections. The election of our people is a sacred thing. The election taking place amongst our people is very sacred to them. You cannot have outside interference. Robinson moved a motion for self-government in the crooked parliament down there. It was for Tobago. It is meant for Tobago individually and institutionally to govern itself. And if the state were decent, then we will see to it that that is so. There should be no involvement of Trinidad institutions in the elections of Tobago. We are living out a contradiction here. But as I said, God is about. He's fixing that. I have absolutely no doubt about that.
Stress, go a little bit more into the president, because we don't know what she does. And I believe you can't be paid. You can't be paid just for these simple things.
Well, as I said,
simple acts.
The prime minister is usurping his authority. And what happens in life is that people tend to fill, when people see gaps there, people tend to fill the gap. At some point in time, the president will have to wake up, because there will be no resolution to this Tobago situation here. The bill that went to Parliament assented to by the president will be resisted. There are people in Tobago will resist that, and you might have people in Trinidad also who will also resist that. And I'm saying they have no authority. I read it. And what they are hoping now, what they have done, and they will try to do that retroactively. They haven't mentioned it yet. In the bill that was assented to, what they have done is to give the chief secretary the power now to just call an election. Just call an election. Are we fouls in the yard? So you just throw a corner and we run? What I really want to do is to Tobago to get back into the act. We have to understand it. They want the Togonians to get back into the act. If you go back into the act, you have empowered Trinidad. You've given Trinidad power over you. This is a small sacrifice for Tobagoans to make for a few months. It is 400 years we have been bondage.
Speak to them, speak to them, speak to them.
Sacrifice to make for the bigger goal, for the bigger picture, for the mark of the higher calling, where we can have our own government. We ought not to be calling Tobago House of Assembly government. What they have set up there is a local government of Trinidad. When you read the constitution, they have it annexed to the local government bodies in Trinidad. Yes,
what?
In the constitution, yes. In the constitution, in the very amendment bill, they have Tobago House of Assembly and local government bodies in Trinidad in the same sentence. That is the status of Tobagonians. When you read that properly, it means that Tobago is a part of Trinidad. Tobago is a branch of Trinidad. Tobago is a ward of Trinidad. If you can read, if you know to infer properly.
So you asked
that is what it means there.
So you asked Dr. Duke to bring up
Section 81.
Section 81.
Section 81 of the Constitution.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are listening tonight to this versatile man from Tobago, and he's trying to enlighten us as Tobagonians of where we stand and what we should stand for. He's not a revolutionist, but he believes in revolutionary ideas, which is revolution is a change. We can get it by ease, we could get it by force. He's asking for peaceful revolution, that we will get to understand that a change must come. And when he speaks tonight, he's not speaking to PDP people alone. He's not speaking to PNM people alone. He's speaking to the people of Tobago. Let us put party aside and let us get ready to understand what we are looking at now and what we can learn from what Section 81 have to tell us.
This is the wrong section. Section 81.
Section 81.
Yeah. A few sections after 74.
So before you get to that section, can you tell us what the Prime Minister is doing right now and not leaving us to hear from our president? Talk to the people of Tobago.
Even as he sent the bill to the president without even informing Tobagonians. If this is about Tobago, he sent it. He did not even tell us that he's sending it. It was sent it. He did not address us. The president has not addressed the nation. I'm saying the president has a need. This is a crisis.
She has to address the nation.
Robinson addressed what they call the nation. Let me call it the nation state, quote unquote. Robinson addressed the nation state, so to speak, around 3 times. So he was talking about the ship of state, where it is going and so on. So he said, first of all, he said things begin in small degrees. He said things begin, you will see something happening, but it starts off in small degrees, he said. And he said streams flow into rivers, rivers into seas, seas into oceans. And he said we have a creeping dictatorship. We never analyze what he's really saying. He was talking about the corruption in the Pandey government, and he was talking about Mr. Pandey's attitude and behavior. Even when he brought in the 7 losers, in Robinson's mind, that was not the spirit of the Constitution. It did not violate the letter, but it certainly violated the spirit. So Robinson allowed a long time to elapse. Robinson went into the room with his Bible and swore in those people in his mind that were legitimate, and he left the 7 losers because 7 people went up for the election and lost. And Mr. Pandey brought them to be sworn in to go into the government. You went up in a governmental election and you lost. And you are still getting into the same government. In Robinson's mind, something was wrong.
I never heard of that.
Yeah, that was in 2000 when the UNC won the election on their own. That's the only election they won on their own, and they fell a year later at the 1818. That's when they got the 1818, and Mr. Robinson removed Mr. Pandey, and he quoted from the section in the Constitution. This he said on moral and spiritual values and the rule of law, because he had warned him. And Mr. Robinson actually it used to invite Mr. Pandey to meetings, because what Section 81 says, even before Dr. you get set up, what Section 81 says is that the Prime Minister must keep the President fully informed concerning the general conduct of the government. Furthermore, and the Prime Minister must furnish the President with any information as the President may so require concerning the government. With that clause there, that's a check
on balance. Yes.
So that the President can call in the Prime Minister, especially if the President feels that the country is going down the wrong road. This is what Robinson did. And he warned Mr. Pandey publicly that he's not coming to meetings to inform the President of what is going on in the government. The President has the power to set up commissions and all of that. The authority the government is using is the President's own, that the President got from the people, vested from the people. That's sacred. This is sacred and to be used for our own benefit. What we have here is that the executive authority of the people is being used against the people. What we have here is the executive authority of Tobagonians is being used against Tobagonians. That is what is playing out here. And they are trying now, because of the darkness that abides and abounds, they are trying to put Tobagonians back into the wilderness. That's what they are trying to do. Because they know when Tobagonians go there, Trinidadians will continue, or the government in Trinidad will continue to take all Tobago's oil. And I will hazard a guess here now that the majority of foreign exchange in Trinidad and Tobago is from Tobago waters. Tobago Sea is much larger than that of Trinidad. Trinidad has virtually no sea, and all the new oil finds and gas finds have been in Tobagonian waters. That's a fact. The richest country in the Caribbean here is Tobago.
Wow.
With our small population, with so much resources in the sea. Till, as I said, they banned the Tobago fishermen from fishing. Block 22 alone is 12 times, that they find trillions of cubic feet of gas out there, is 12 times bigger than Tobago. We are sitting, this is what we are sitting down here.
So when Trinidadians, when the Prime Minister and others used to be saying, what Tobago go get?
Yes, well, he went to Barbados not too long ago. You know? Dr. Rowley went to Barbados not too long ago to negotiate with Barbados concerning oil in Tobago waters. Yeah. When he now won the election in 2015, 3 months after that election, they announced that they're looking for oil, north of Tobago. BP, that is a company, north of Tobago. They found it about 6 months in, 3 months after. When they found it, the Ministry of Energy changed the language. They said they found it north of Trinidad and Tobago. They looked for it
in Tobago,
north of Tobago, and found it north of Trinidad and Tobago. This is the mafia that's taking place here. This is the mafia that is taking place here. And you have innocent Tobagonians
not knowing anything.
And we are working and making decisions against us.
Against us.
Franz Fanon said, that's a Martinican psychiatrist and writer. He said, sometimes when whole systems are colonized, he said people can go through their entire lives thinking that they're in their right frame of mind. But indeed, they are not. He said they will eat the same food as the colonial master. They will walk like them, talk like them, wear the same clothes like them. He said they will resist any indigenous means that they need to go back to free themselves from the dreaded political disease called colonization.
Colonization, man.
That is the history here is one of colonization.
Yes, everything. We have to talk so much more, but ladies and gentlemen, our brother Anthony will be back on Saturday night at 8:30 p.m. with a continuation of this topic. We will know more of our president. We will know why Our president is a female, and she has more to do. She is not addressing the nation. Tobago is in crisis. I will say that, but Anthony said no. He said Tobago is a crisis mode. Crisis is there. Christ intervene. So, brother, can you read what Joanne Cummings is saying to you, and then we will have your closing statement for tonight.
She said this 6+6 or 6-6 results open up a lot of young people who are now interested in learning politics. That was never thought to them or never taught to them by their parents. They no longer keeping silent. They are having forums to learn about what's happening right now with this current situation in Tobago.
Well, a round of applause to you and for you.
Yes.
You are part of the reasons why young people are listening and young people are changing their minds. Because I know when people get to know and understand what's going on for real, and hearing it from a specialist like you, we know we are going to get more. We know we are going to get more. So, brother, give us your closing statements in about 3 minutes, because the producer of the show, she has to go.
Yes. What should I say? I want to be one of my people to focus on what God has already done. To look at the bigger picture. In one fell swoop, if we follow the lead of God, and He will do it regardless. I'm just repeating. God is now giving Tobagonians all of Tobago, all of us some. It is simple. We will constitute the executive and the legislature. And from there, in the legislature, we will build the Constitution of Trinidad. Sorry, build the Constitution of Tobago. The laws of Trinidad and Tobago will remain until they are repealed and replaced by the government in Tobago. The government in Trinidad can do nothing immediately, can do nothing when this system is effective immediately, can do nothing in Tobago except by the consent of the government. Observe, I did not say the assembly, except by consent of the government of Tobago. You can see the government and people of Tobago. What has happened, what God has done, and is consistent with His word. In Romans 7, hear the word. A woman who has a husband is bound by the law to her husband. But if the husband be dead, she is free from the law. So He said, likewise, brethren, you are free by the body of Jesus Christ, because Christ died. The point I'm making here, He said that you may serve another. So there's a new covenant to come for Tobago and say. The point is, the system is dead. God is using the death of the system to free. Now that the system is dead, you are now free from the power of Trinidad. Don't rush to go back under Trinidad. Otherwise, you're subjecting yourself to their 2/3, their 3/4 majority, their 3/6, whatever. They are unwilling. They are not giving you that. They are not giving you that period. So God has taken the matter out from the parliament's hand. He Himself, with 6/6, just immediately after 40 years, He has crashed the system so that you and I, our entire history, it's a long road, from Africa to now. Trinidadians are there already, Bajan, Vincentians, Dominicans, and this is why they are playing for West Indies and trampling up and down the playing fields of the world.
But no Tobago.
We are nowhere. This is what God has done. Open up our eyes, see the bigger picture. Here what the scripture says also in John. He said, except a grain of wheat falls into the earth and dies.
No fruit.
It abides, no fruit. It abides alone. And who can argue that Tobago abides alone? It is in the shadow behind Trinidad somewhere. It abides alone. There's no fruit. But if that grain goes into growth and dies, it brings up, it rises with fruitfulness. And this is what God is saying to you. Now is your time to rise in fruitfulness. Stop being PNM. Stop being a branch of Trinidad. Stop responding and hiding covertly from institutions from Trinidad. It is time for you. Take all that is yours. I have blessed you. It is there. Other people are taking the blessings.
Oh,
understand in the final word now. This is about executive authority. The executive authority has come from us.
Yes.
The authority are ready, where these people are using because we don't know, and they want without accountability. It is ours. The setting up of the state is came from the executive authority of the people of Tobago and the people of Trinidad. We are not contesting the executive authority of the people of Trinidad, but certainly the executive authority to constitute Tobago is ours, and we must exercise that fully and properly. That is the real issue I want to hammer home here tonight.
Well, you did a great job, and you are going to be back on Saturday to continue what we couldn't finish tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, you are going to be back again the other week, one day in the other week. And as you said, as much as I want you, because I don't know all these things. And what I know, and I try to say, people believe that I just making confusion because I am a PNM. I ain't no PNM. I ain't no PDP. I am a Tobagonian, and I'm here for the people. So as we take our departure now, we are going to thank the audience. We are going to have them to come back to see you on Saturday. And next week, Wednesday, we are going to have the one and only Watson Duke will be here next week, Wednesday. So it won't be you next Wednesday. You will be here Saturday, but you will be here on the weekend of Watson Duke's show. So Brother Watson Duke will be here. We want to hear from him. As much as people don't love him, they don't like him, they want to hate him, we are going to hear exactly from Brother Watson Duke. And over the next week, you and Brother Watson Duke will be here together. Do you know him?
Yeah, well, he's a gentleman that is my cousin.
I know.
He's my cousin, and he was in the same organization with me. You know, so
he's gonna be here, my people, on weekend, on next week, and on weekend we have the fabulous Juanita would be here again.
Is Juanita Bynum?
Well, no, not Bynum. I'll get her sometime. She came on. She's the young lady that was here speaking about abuse and stuff like that the weekend. She'll be here again. And then we have our fabulous team will be here. Well, you will be here Saturday. And Sunday is Juanita. So, brothers and sisters, I want to thank you guys for tuning in tonight. I hope you all have learned something, and I hope I wouldn't be on the side of people hating me because they can't stand the truth. The truth is the truth. And may the peace of Almighty God continue to bind us together as one people. We are Tobagonians, nothing against Trinidad. We are not speaking about secession. We are speaking about Tobago having their rights and being part of government for greater governance for Tobago. Peace, everybody.
Respect.
Don't leave my cousin. Sit right there after the show is over. Don't come off the set. I have something to talk to you about.
Okay.
Thanks to each other. Thanks to Dr. Duke. Thank you for being the producer and editor of the show. Thank you for your interjection, and thank you for your smarts. Thank you, guys. Bless it. Namaste.
Yeah, so thank you, my people. This is where we end tonight's live show.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for joining me.
We're not going to have any music to take us out. I think this is it.